thrill me.
I'm gonna name you Kodo. You get a name too, Podo.
I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
You too? You got a boner too? Blue Steel.
Welcome, everybody, to another Q's and T's installment of the Unkind Rewind. In a minute here, we'll be getting to our discussion ahead of watching next week's movie with Karyn Cooper of Chick-Lit with Karyn and Aubree. Really fun podcast. Adam and I have been on there. There's reason to believe Sean and I will be as well once they're sort of back up and running in earnest. But yeah, really fun pod. Definitely check them out. Karyn's great. Aubree's great. But we've got Karyn with us this week, so we'll be talking maybe more North Carolina, if I remember correctly. I am recording this sans Sean. I am, of course, Josh Dugan. But my co-host Sean McGrath is unavailable because of the fact that I'm recording this on Thanksgiving, for our American listeners at least. The holidays, whatever. I don't want to get too far into the holiday. It's not without its ahistorical problematic nature. So, anyway. So, in our Discord, Alex is also a Tar Heel and was glad that last week's movie, Brainstorm, had a fair amount of North Carolina talk. He said he was a happy Tar Heel. Last week, we were, of course, discussing Brainstorm with Leo J. Allen Jr. Very fun episode. Gopher Balls on Blue Sky had said that he was looking forward to the pod, but my random thoughts from the movie rewatch are, it's not good, but it's not bad either. It was competently made, and the special effects hold up for the most part. The ending, not so much. It was smart to not explain the science beyond even a flux capacitor level. It moves slowly but surely and is well grounded until the third act becomes quite ridiculous. There. He goes on, it could have used some humor. Aside from Louise Fletcher, the acting is mostly forgettable. This might be the only movie where Christopher Walken can be described as dull. Again, fair. And then he finishes up. It's unclear how much the Natalie Wood tragedy shortened her role. Her scenes were often cut short, but I didn't notice when her sister stood in for her in the footage shot after her death. Maybe it was obvious, but I didn't learn that fact until after I watched it, so I wasn't looking for it. And I just responded to that last point. I watched it twice for the recording, and I couldn't tell when it was Lana and when it was Natalie. So, yeah. Anyway, if you didn't check out last week's episode, very fun. Talking a kind of historically significant film because of what happened behind the scenes and what happened that truncated the filming of the movie. Yeah. Well, I've got the tryptophan coursing through my veins, so I feel like I should probably just throw to the Q's and T's discussion with Karyn Cooper of Chick-Lit. Again, check out the podcast. It's Chick-Lit with Karyn and Aubree, Karyn with a Y. Make sure to check them out. All their socials and whatnot is in the show description of the show notes. Without further ado, Karyn Cooper. Welcome, everybody, to another installment of the Unkind Rewind. This week we've got a teaser episode with Karyn Cooper. Karyn, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, since not all of them may know you?
Hello, I am Karen Cooper. I am one half of the Chick-Lit podcast, which is a podcast in which my best friend Aubree and I read books that we read growing up and dissect them, see if they hold up. Sometimes we roast them. Currently we're doing Stephenie Meyer's New Moon this season, so it is a big roast fest.
Which one are you? Are you chick or lit?
Usually lit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may not know this, Karen, but Sean was in Twilight.
No.
Oh,
Sean was also in New Moon.
New Moon. They
Josh.
reused his footage.
No.
They reused his footage from Twilight in New Moon.
Why don't I just say Karen, if she's familiar with the movie, I could give her a line.
Yes.
Wait,
Focus.
get your motivation, Sean.
Yeah. It's usually like this. Whoa. Where are you going? Why don't you
That was you?
You should hang out with us. Oh, yeah.
Tell her how long you shot on Twilight.
Those were all nights. Those were like,
Mm-hmm.
we were called, I think our call was 7 or 8 p.m.
Because you were one of the Port Angeles creepo people, right? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how I introduce myself to people now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they 2 days, night shoots, and then 1 day shoot the following week, walking past
The window.
a dress store.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense that they reused your footage because it's basically the exact same scene, but then they cut back to Kristen Stewart and she's just like doing something different because it's a year or two later.
Yeah, it was a nice phone call to get from the agent saying, you're in New Moon, you don't have to do anything, just talk to you later.
Collect a check, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks, Crispin Glover.
Definitely collected a check.
He's the one I have to thank for that, too, by the way, because he sued Spielberg for trying to use Back to the Future 1 footage and Back to the Future 2.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Mm-hmm. And he won. And
he was right.
He was right.
He was right.
Yeah, that's fucked
But
up.
everyone treated him like such a dick for that.
Yeah. I mean, there was also the whole weird incident with Letterman where he, kicked him.
He's strong. He can kick.
I was not aware of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a weird, one of the weirdest late night moments is Crispin Glover, accidentally, he didn't mean to kick Letterman, but he kicked Letterman.
He didn't, I don't think he kicked
Or
Letterman.
maybe he didn't land it, but it felt like he was going to land it, and so it was like the most awkward thing ever.
He was wearing platform heels, too. 70s disco platform heels.
As if Crispin Glover needed to wear those. Crispin Glover is a tall man.
So tall, yeah.
He was struggling, I think, with the fame of that moment. He didn't really know
sure.
how to kind of handle Letterman, which many people don't. And
he's a total weirdo.
Sure.
I mean, no judgment, but I don't know if you've ever seen his movie. I think it's called What Is It? One of the weirdest fucking things.
The only thing I think I've ever seen him in is Back to the Future 1 and 2.
You may have seen him in Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
He's one of the bad guys in the first Charlie's Angels movie.
Okay. Anytime I see him in anything, I just think I'm your density.
Yeah, as one does.
His density has pumped him to you, I believe.
So, back to our guest, Karen. I guess, what was your childhood like?
Oh.
When you were watching the movie that we're about to be talking about?
Yeah, we don't need to go too deep dive on the couch here, Josh, but we can...
One bleak day in 1993. So this movie came out in 2002, which means I would have been 9.
Yeah.
I want to say, I know that I didn't see it in theaters. I think this was a Friday night movie. My best neighborhood friend and I would have these sleepovers where her mom would go grocery shopping on a Friday afternoon. She would drop us off at the local video store and let us pick out whatever DVDs we wanted, and she would buy our snacks while she was grocery shopping. And so this was one of those DVDs that we picked out, and then I think I remember that she really didn't like it, and I did. Because she just wasn't into the whole historical thing. I think I had to, talk her into picking it. And I remember being so into that movie. I think I rented it 3 or 4 more times that same year. Which probably would have been, 03 or something like that. So I was probably 10.
Sure.
And I just remember, thinking it was so romantic. And, Alexis Bledel, I think I had a little bit of a crush on her and like, and all the boys in the thing. So, and then I read the book sometime after that. I know that I saw the movie first and then I read the book.
Okay.
Is this coming to the movie with prior knowledge of it? Like you knew that it had been out, you couldn't get to it in a theater, or was this walking past it at the video store and going, "Ooh, what's this?"
It was a walking past in the video store because I had a very sheltered childhood. I wasn't even allowed to like watch Shrek when it came out. Like I was like PG was like pushing it. And so I do remember this was one of the first PG movies that my mom was like, oh, okay, this looks okay. We can watch this.
So when you went into this video store, you would get a movie, but then it had to be okayed?
Yeah.
With the other mom too, or just with yours?
Well, the friend's mom like was way more lenient, so
Okay.
sometimes she would forget to check with my mom, and I can't remember if this was one of those times or not. But I do remember that it was like one of the first PG movies that I had seen.
I'm going to guess that she conveniently didn't forget
I think she
the
probably,
times
yeah.
that she didn't call.
Yeah. Friday night was her night to put on 80s music and put on her headphones and dance around in her craft room. So we would all be upstairs watching movies and she'd be listening to Friday Night 80s on 98.1.
So Talk Everlasting was a slip up of this other parent.
Most likely. She was the coolest mom in the neighborhood. Like, she was younger than everybody else's mom. She was very cool. But not in, like, the mean girls way. Like, she was actually cool.
She's getting snacks. I mean, say no more.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Were there any other, like, weird, sort of slightly transgressive movies that you snuck by with this parent?
I think a lot of M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
Because, like,
you're
really
of that age that you want your mind to be blown, kind of?
Yeah. And, like, you know, for somebody who's 10, 11, like, Signs is, like, a mind-blowing plot twist movie, you know?
And it's got kids in it, so you have, like, an analog in the movie.
Yeah, I remember, I think that same summer, well, it might not have been the same summer, but like a couple summers after that, we had watched most of whatever M. Night had put out at that point. So like I saw Sixth Sense, I saw Unbreakable was a big one. Unbreakable was my favorite one.
Unbreakable's dope.
It's really good.
It's really good.
But I think the only other one was Harry Potter movies, because there were some Harry Potter movies that were PG-13 that I wasn't allowed to see. And I think my first PG-13 movie actually was a Harry Potter movie, I'm pretty sure.
That's funny.
Was Shrek vilified for it being kind of fantasy and ogres and things of that nature? Or was it language, or was it suggestive? Like, where did
I bet it was Eddie Murphy.
It was probably Eddie Murphy. It was probably an anti-donkey household that you grew up in. But, like, what was... Did you feel like there were tiers of things that Mom was most cautious with you about? Violence, sex, language, other? Where did it fall?
It was definitely, like, for Shrek, it was the crudeness. It was, like, the crassness of it. Mm-hmm. Because it's funny for kids, you know, like he's, like, farting a bunch and, like, all that. And my mom was just, she's, like, a very... reserved, like, Southern Christian woman who, like, doesn't like any of that stuff. Like, to this day, if I, like, fuck up and say, like, a curse word around her, she'll just go, like... I know for Shrek that's what it was. It was more just, like, how disgusting it was.
Okay.
But, like, I wasn't even allowed to, like, watch Cartoon Network. Like, all the children's programs I watched were, like, educational on, like, PBS and stuff. A big cultural touchstone that she kept from me was Pokemon. Because to this day, like, I still don't really know enough about Pokemon to, like, be in on the jokes that people make or, like, whatever else. The other day, Aubree sent me a picture of something that her boyfriend had 3D printed, and it was a Bulbasaur, and I guessed. I was like, is that a Bulbasaur? And she was like, good job!
I wouldn't have known it, but that's more of an age thing, I think.
It is. People in their, like, upper 20s, early 30s, Pokemon is very big.
Yeah, I'm definitely the micro generation out of that, which is fine. It's not everything's for me.
Apparently me either, because...
Sure. For different reasons.
Yes.
Mine is, you know, being a crotchety old fuck.
Mm-hmm.
What's a good example, Karyn, of a movie that Mom okayed, Mom appreciated you watching or rewatching?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, most all of the Disney princess movies.
Those are okay.
Those were fine, even though, like, you know...
Even Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast, Stockholm Syndrome.
Because that's bestiality.
That's, yeah.
some
Well,
serious...
only temporary though. He does
Sure.
He does
Right,
revive.
like, is it because he's in the body of a beast, but he has the mind of a man, so, like, is it technically, I don't know. Maybe that's where my monster boyfriend romance love for that type of genre came from.
I wonder if, what's his actual name? Prince or whatever.
Prince, it's not Eric, that's Little Mermaid.
Oh
my God.
Damn it.
Okay, well,
This is really aggravating.
let's just call
I
him the
should know
prince.
this. Yeah.
I wonder if he goes back to being a human and then he's like, oh,
She's not
shit.
into me.
I think that he'd be a little disappointed over the loss of his beastly penis.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
He'd be like, oh,
It's like I can't break her in half anymore.
I lose that too? Wow, that was kind of the best thing about being a beast.
I'm really irritated that I can't think of the werewolf erotica, whatever that fucking...
Oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that term, that where...
The alpha thing?
Yeah. We'll just move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Anytime we go into werewolf erotica, we should just move on.
Yeah. But that's totally a thing, Sean.
Sure.
Shrek erotica is also a thing.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It's called Get in My Swamp. And it's by, I can't remember the author, but...
Jesus.
Also, blank erotica is a thing. So
Yeah. But, like, werewolf erotica is a whole genre.
It's like Rule 34. I mean,
Yeah. Okay, so memory can be a tricky thing, having not rewatched Tuck Everlasting in ages. Can you briefly describe what you remember the basic plot of the movie being? We don't need, like, a ton, but,
Sure.
broad strokes.
This mysterious family, like, moves to town, I think, and Alexis Bledel is like, I'm just a little Victorian lady. Well, teenager. And then she, like, meets this family, and they, like, are, I guess, used to be from here. And then they have I'm pretty sure, they have a very almost Twilight-esque conversation in the woods, because she asks him how old he is, and he accidentally is like 104 or something. And then he's like, just kidding, I'm 17. And she's like, how long have you been 17? No, I'm just kidding.
that's a great joke, by the way. If you add 80 to 60 years to your age when people ask.
Yeah, just, it's hilarious.
I'm looking forward to a really funny movie.
And then there's some kind of conflict because she finds out that this family has drank from this spring in the woods near her house that has made them live forever. And they're trying to keep her from telling everybody about it. So they kind of low-key kidnap her, but not really. And then I feel like somebody else finds out about it, and they're trying to, like, let the secret out so that people can drink from it. And probably so that they can turn it into a capitalist venture.
Or a weapon.
Yeah.
Or a weapon. Yes.
It's one of the two, but capitalism's always to blame.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But that's roughly what I remember.
Those are broad strokes. We like it.
Yeah.
I just remember a lot of, like, a young teenage boy, like, running through a field with Alexis Bledel.
From not knowing anything really about this.
Yeah, me neither.
My, like, I guess, auto response to something like Tuck Everlasting was, like, poor man's Jane Austen. Is kind of like what I had. So that's all I have kind of going into this.
I think that's Bridgerton, actually, but, you know.
Okay. Is this a little pre-Bridgerton?
Only with more hump. Bridgerton's like plus humping.
Bridgerton is plus humping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how mom's going to like Bridgerton. You go into the video store and rent Bridgerton, Karen.
Yeah.
Do you think your mom's watching Bridgerton?
No, I don't think so.
Secretly? Furtively?
She's more of a, like, Chip and Joanna Gaines type of mom. Like, I don't know. She really likes these Amish stories that are like Christian Amish love stories.
Oh.
I read a lot of them growing up too.
With
we read them
with Rumspringa in them, or is Rumspringa excised?
Like, oh, this girl is like in her Rumspringa, and then she meets this boy, and he gets her pregnant, and then she leaves because she's banished from the Amish community. But then she like finds the like Christian God that's the correct one, you know, later on in life, and then she makes peace with her Amish family and like that kind of shit.
Jesus.
Been there.
I met the author. Her name is Beverly Lewis, and she signed my books for me.
Okay. Does someone always say, "Thou art banished"?
No, I think it's more shunning. It's
okay.
But it's all Pennsylvania Dutch, so there's all kinds of like weird Pennsylvania Dutch like words in it, where they'll just be like, "Oh, dat."
They're always talking about going to Bird in Hand.
Yes.
This is all spiraled from.
I'm so sorry.
Sexy Harrison Ford in Witness.
The Witness.
Yes. 100%.
So weird. Okay. Oh, so where do you think this was set?
I'm gonna say I think it's America.
Okay.
Or somewhere that's like America, if it's like a fictional place.
It could be nameless.
And is this like contemporarily set? Like, is this set in
set
more
in
or less present day?
1800s.
Okay.
And I'm fairly certain that we're gonna get a scene at the end where we find out whether or not Alexis Bledel drank the water.
Okay.
And then there's some time jumping that happens towards the end, too.
Sure. So is it the Fountain of Youth that they found?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Is it like explicit? Do you think it's explicitly the Fountain of Youth, or do you think it's just figuratively?
No, I think it's more of like, they don't dive into the lore of it so much.
Okay.
It's more like, hey, we were farming this land 100 years ago, and we all came through here, and we were thirsty, and we drank from this spring. And then after like 25 years, we noticed that none of us were aging, and then we would have these accidents, and nobody could die. And so then we kept it a secret because we don't want people to find out about it.
They were drinking pool runoff from Cocoon.
Yes.
Now, is there any sword fighting in this? Or any people beheaded? Is there any quickening or any Highlander
There's no swashbuckling. There are some. I'm pretty sure there are some very like white flowy shirts.
Okay.
There's a lot of that.
Sure.
And there might be like some fisticuffs.
Okay.
There could be a bodice or two.
There might be a bodice, but she's younger, so I think she's like in more of that like. That thing where, like, Victorian children just wore the same shit until they all turned 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like more of that type of thing. I want to say that there might be, like, a jailbreak.
Okay.
But that's to be determined.
Now, this is right on the heels of A Knight's Tale. Do you think Thin Lizzy's jailbreak was used for the jailbreak? Or was this more of, like, a old-style classical music that would have been...
I'm thinking old-style classical music.
Okay.
That's what I'm picturing. Like, I'm picturing a lot of, like, it's very sort of country-y, so I'm picturing, like, a fiddle, maybe.
Right
as, like, most of the soundtrack.
And what was the last time, Karyn, that you think you've seen Tuck Everlasting?
It was probably, like, 2005.
Okay. We're coming up on your 20.
Yeah.
What do you think it was about Tuck Everlasting that appealed to your younger self?
I think because of the way that I, like, came into it, not knowing anything about it, and just, like, seeing these two just beautiful children on the DVD cover and being like, oh, what is that about? It looks so, like, mysterious and romantic. And then finding out that it's, like, this almost, like, moral, ethical folklore tale about, you know, living forever and, like, what does that actually cost you? Mm-hmm. And there was a time in my life where, like, I really wanted to make movies, and that was, like, I was coming right up on that, so I was just watching any movies that I could, like, I would go and rent as many DVDs as I could afford with my allowance that week and just, like, watch them all over and over and over again.
Were you diving into the special features on these?
This one, I don't remember.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely I was. I was obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, obsessed. Mm-hmm. In the way that people are with, like, Harry Potter, but there's no, like, original property except for the ride at Disney World.
Sure. Did you go to the ride a lot?
I have never been to a Disney park.
Yeah, you don't have to. You're
actually. Fine. And I think I'm aged out of it now. I don't think I would have a good time.
Yes. Wholly concur.
She goes to the small town Tuck Everlasting parks.
Yes. Where you, like, get to drink from a fountain, but it's like you're not really supposed to drink it because somebody probably peed in it.
It's just Sierra Mist.
It's actually Starry.
Yeah, it's Starry.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Sierra Mist.
I know.
I can't believe they murdered Sierra Mist.
Oh, God.
Somebody tried to pass off Red Vines at the movie theater as Twizzlers, and I was like, you already took Sierra Mist from me. Stop it.
Red Vines, Adam and I have talked about this. Red Vines are fucking terrible.
They're awful.
And Red Vines are on set, not Twizzlers.
Yeah.
because they're in the big... Well, maybe they actually aren't anymore, but pre-pandemic, on set, there would just be that big bucket of red vines, and you're like, what sickos want this on set?
Oh, yeah.
At Crafty, yeah.
Yeah.
That's gross. The worst.
They probably asked for Twizzlers, but the budget was red vine.
I think it's a weird tradition thing. I honestly think the red vines at Crafty is a weird tradition thing, just like burning white sage. Oh. It's a bizarre thing, but...
Josh just fucked our red vine sponsorship.
That's fine. I didn't want that money anyway.
We don't want it. It's dirty
you
money.
Sickos.
There was so much money, Josh. Fuck, dude.
On the ashes of the Twizzler empire.
But Twizzlers, come hither.
Yeah.
We'll gladly take your Twizzlers money, and we'll shit on your competitors.
Free of charge.
My podcast will also do that.
Yes. Yeah. Either Chick-Lit or... Adam doesn't get a slice of this because he wasn't emphatic enough about hating red vines.
Yeah.
Come talk to us, Twizzlers.
Yes.
Is that Mars Company? Feels like...
Most likely.
Yeah, it feels like it's Mars. Yeah.
Doesn't Mars just own everything now? And
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, Nestle owns everything too. Everything. Yeah.
You know, Nestle wants a piece of that Tuck Everlasting stream.
Oh,
because
for sure.
They do sell water.
Yeah.
They also steal water. A lot of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nestle. Not taking your money either, you
Speaking
fucks.
of capitalism.
Oh, Josh, you're fucking this whole season for us. Oh, God. All right. We're going to have to get into bed with some right-wing companies now.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have to start selling brain pills.
We have to go to that Black Rock coffee company, whatever that gun one is.
Oh,
Black Rifle.
Yeah.
My dad he has all this Black Rifle merch, and I'm like, "Do you even drink the coffee?" And he's like, "No."
Well, we could have turned him down until this episode. Now we're going to have to listen to their offers.
JustCoffee.coop, reach out. We want communist coffee to sponsor us. Thank you, please.
Josh keeps dropping these so that it gets in the transcript, and then
I hope so. I'm trying here. Also, Viagra, reach out. Pfizer. Anyway, what memories do you have that stick out most about Tuck Everlasting? This could range from what your personal experiences were with a movie, hanging out with a friend group, anything that specifically sticks out.
That first night, or a scene, or really anything.
I definitely remember that first night because my friend, who was my best friend in the neighborhood, who was really just my best friend because I was homeschooled, she had a brother who always also got to have a friend over. So it was like the only reason I ever went to a co-ed sleepover was because like my mom would just, well, it's fair, he has to have a friend over too, like whatever. And so I just remember like there was some boy there that I had a crush on and he didn't want to watch the movie. But then I was like, do I want to spend time with the boy more and watch a dumb movie that I'm going to find boring? Or do I want to watch this movie that I've always wanted to watch because I've been walking past it in Blockbuster or Hometown Video or whatever for like however many months? And then I picked the movie over the boy, which I think was the right choice. So we went to the downstairs TV room and they got the upstairs TV room so they could watch like Yu-Gi-Oh or something. And
if it was Yu-Gi-Oh, I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, I definitely made the right choice.
Yeah. Do you still interact with any of the three people in question at all? Like, are they in your life at all?
You know what's really funny? So that friend and I still keep in touch fairly often. We're not like besties or anything, but she'll text me from time to time. We text like 2 or 3 times a year. And she texted me the other day and she was like, "You'll never guess who I ran into." And it was her brother's childhood friend, that same guy, who I had such a huge crush on. We all did. Like, all of the girls in the neighborhood, like, had such a huge crush on him.
He was the hunky tween of the neighborhood?
He was the hunky tween that, like, skateboarded and had floppy hair and, like...
Did he have any, like, semi-unbuttoned, puffy, ruffled shirts?
Definitely it was, like, that phase where everyone was wearing, like, skater shoes with cargo pants and then, like, a polo for some reason.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So she was like, "You'll never guess who I ran into the other day." And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Matt." And I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Yeah, he asked about you." And I was like, "No way."
Did he ask about Tuck Everlasting?
He did not. I don't think he had any memory of that, but there was lots of memories to be had at their house for many, many years.
See, I thought we were going to hear about how you became friends with the cool mom in the neighborhood.
We were friends. I really liked her, and I have always been like the wet blanket of my friend group. And like the mom that everyone kind of, and the one that would always like the goody two shoes. Everyone's like, Karen's gonna tattle on us if we do this thing, you know. And so but I don't know. Maybe she just saw that in me because she would always be like, Karyn, you can't lie to me. And I'd be like, we didn't do that.
Did you tell your friend that you're gonna do this Tuck Everlasting?
No, but I'm gonna text her now because I'm gonna have to like be like, hey, I was talking about you.
You didn't call her out by name. It's fine.
No.
Yeah.
And that guy's never gonna listen to this.
Who knows?
We go in as unadulterated to your viewing as possible. Don't let this mysterious old friend taint your rewatch.
Yes. No, definitely not. I feel like I watched it once with her, and then she probably forgot about it, and then I ended up watching it like 6 more times. You made
it a religion, and she.
I did because that's
she
all
moved
I knew.
on.
Yeah.
What expectations do you have for your return to Tuck Everlasting?
My expectations are that it's probably not going to hold up, and I'm just going to set that expectation for myself. Maybe not in like it's a horrible, horrible movie type of way, but just maybe it's not going to be the childhood movie of my dreams. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, it's such a great movie for a kid because it's like eternal youth, you know, I don't know. But like, what is that? What does that come with? Mm-hmm. But my expectation, I'm going to set my expectations low, and then hopefully I'll be like pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Or it could just be awful.
Is there anything you're specifically concerned about?
Alexis Bledel is like, she's great in Gilmore Girls. I don't think she's like the greatest like serious movie actress. I think she did a pretty good job in Handmaid's Tale. That's like the most serious thing I've ever seen her in. But like at this age, she was still just really like developing her acting skills. So I think I might cringe a little hard. And then I don't remember who the other kids are played by. I don't think really anybody famous. The only other most famous person, I'm 99.9% sure that Sissy Spacek is in this.
Okay. Academy Award winner.
I think she plays...
She's very good.
Yes.
She's a great actress.
She really is.
She is. Yeah.
Sissies, you're welcome on the show.
Yeah. Please come discuss your time on
putting that out there.
The most famous movie you've ever acted in, Tuck Everlasting.
She'd probably get a kick out of talking about it. So many people want to talk about her, Carrie and Badlands, and
true.
God, we would be the.
I own Badlands. I have the Criterion Blu-ray. Like, I love Badlands. Oh God.
Is it about the Badlands?
No, it's about the Starkweather murders.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She does a great job in Bloodline too.
She is great in Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah. Netflix show with.
With the guy from Early Edition and Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
right?
Kyle Chandler.
Yeah.
Is very delightful in person.
But also
really
Ben
nice
Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn's fucking amazing.
Season. And yeah.
God, Ben Mendelsohn is such a fucking psycho in like the best way possible.
Won the Emmy for Best Actor in a pretty stacked division and like didn't even bother to show up for it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He's a fucking serious dude.
That's crazy.
He's not flying to LA just
he
for
doesn't give a shit about awards. No. He's Australian too, so I get not wanting to make that fucking flight.
Yeah.
Especially for the Emmys. If it was the Oscars, I'm sure his agent would be like, no, you have to fucking go, dick. But it was the Emmys. No.
Isn't it like 25 hours or something crazy?
The Emmys is long.
Oh, I just meant the flight, but yes.
Oh, the flight, yeah. No, the flight's 20 hours, I think, from Sydney to LA. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to make that flight either, Ben.
No. Are you going to fly me privately? Am I going to be able to lay down in a bed?
Seriously. Do some calisthenics once in a while?
I think it was probably a surprise, too, that he won. I don't think anybody was expecting that.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Another digression.
That's what you get with me. Sorry.
Well, that's... Unfortunately, that's what you get with me and Sean, too.
I was going to say, you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, sorry, listeners.
A lot of that.
All right. I think that more or less covers the pre-interview of, before you've gone back and watched this for the first time in nearly 20 years.
So excited.
Obviously, Sean and I are kind of outside of the target demographic, and we're never in it because we're I mean, we were fucking, 23 when this came out? 22, 23.
You know what I found out? I didn't really look anything up about it, but I did realize that there was actually an 80s film adaptation of it.
How old's the book?
1981.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And it was also adapted to a musical stage play.
Okay.
That I'm sure didn't do very well.
Josh, you have some deep diving to do.
Ah, Jesus. I'm not gonna... I can't imagine I'm gonna watch the 80s one. Oh, God. And they repeat "We're drinking the water" for
for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, Karyn, looking forward to watching this for next week. Sean and I, of course, have never seen this.
I think it's safe to say that without you, Karyn, Josh and I would have never seen this.
Yes.
I was surprised when you picked it, because I gave you quite a diverse list of movies.
I don't think Sean and I are shying away from stuff that's not necessarily up our alley. And I think this is kind of a strangely beloved property. Speaking
for Josh, Karyn, I think that this was one where we thought we might not see it come up on a list for a while. Mm-hmm. So why not take advantage of it with you?
Seize the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Carpe diem.
Let's tuck it up.
Do we have to tuck for this whole movie, Sean?
I mean,
I'm going to make that stipulation.
Is that what this is about? Is that what the movie's actually about?
And Josh, it's a metaphor.
Next episode, you get 2 tuck jokes, and then you hit your quota. So we use them sparingly.
Well, Karyn, looking forward to next week. Thank you for joining us.
Well,
and everybody, obviously, check out Chick-Lit. Where can they find you on social media?
We are on Instagram and Twitter at ChickLitPod. That's ChickLitPod. And nowhere else currently, because I can only handle 2 social media things. I think we have a Blue Sky, but I'm not even going to plug it.
I'm on too many, and it makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Makes him want to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
It does. Just never again. And the podcast is available on all podcast platforms, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, everybody.
Check out Chick-Lit.
Yeah, check out Chick-Lit. I know you've done Twilight and New Moon. You're doing New Moon now.
We're doing New Moon now.
Have you been doing the Chick-Lit at the movies as much recently?
Not as frequently. It's been hard.
It's more moving pieces, yeah.
It's more moving pieces. But we do have quite a number of movie episodes where we have guests on to discuss films. It's much more of a generalized thing.
Yeah. Adam and I were on for Thin Man.
Yes. Yeah. That was one of my favorite episodes we've done, and I'm not just saying that because I'm on your podcast.
No, it was super fun. I love that movie so much. Sean does too. Sean's actually the one who made me watch it.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how it's the only example in film we can think of where a man knocks out his wife to save her life.
It's true.
Yeah, and it's very funny when he does it.
He was a sexagenarian.
Yeah, I mean, you could... That movie is so dense, joke-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, jokes per sentence it's probably, a staggering amount.
Yeah.
It's, really, really high.
It's really funny.
Waiter, will you serve the nuts? I mean, will you serve the guests the nuts?
Or, it takes 10 minutes for either Nick or Nora to show up, but when Nora comes in, she asks how many drinks her husband's had. And I think he said 6, and it's either 4 or 6, but she has the waiter line up 4 so she can catch up. And then smash cut to her being hungover the next morning.
The hungover Nora is
such
a I relate to that on a spiritual level.
Drinking wasn't a problem back in 1934.
No, it was for health.
Yeah.
So was smoking.
Yeah. You have to do both of them.
Yeah.
They're never not drinking in that movie. It's fucking amazing. It's the drunkest movie I've maybe ever seen.
I think it's drunker than any given episode of Mad Men.
It's drunker than Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty drunk. And they made a lot of them.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
6, right?
I think I've only seen 1 or 2. I've seen
the first
2, maybe.
4 or 5. I just haven't seen the last 1 or 2.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of a diminishing return, but if you like Nick and you like Nora and you like that style,
their chemistry's great.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so good.
Everyone should listen to that episode. That's in all the Munch My Benson show notes. Literally every episode.
Aww.
You can find a link to that. So anyway, Karyn, thank you.
All right, Karyn. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You've just listened to another installment of the Unkind Rewind podcast, mining and potentially ruining your childhood for content, one film at a time. Unkind Rewind is a Munchcast production and can be ingested wherever you listen to podcasts and on the Unkind Rewind YouTube channel. Music for this and every other episode of Unkind Rewind was composed by Divorcio Suave. Rate, review, like, and subscribe to Unkind Rewind on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and Good Pods. Links to all our social media accounts are in our show notes, but you'll find us as at Unkind Rewind Pod on nearly every social media platform, all of which are available at our website, unkindrewind.com. If you have a question, concern, complaint, or feedback, you can email the podcast at unkindrewindpod@gmail.com or call into our call-in line, area code 507-479-6440, and leave a message that can be played on air. Fans should join the Munchcast Discord to discuss this or any other episode of the Unkind Rewind with like-minded people. This dialogue may just make it into a future episode of the pod. The Unkind Rewind Patreon will be coming soon, so start squirreling that pocket change away. Thank you for listening to another Unkind Rewind.